Dear students, how are you? I think all of you are very well by the grace of the Almighty. Our today's topic is punctuation, and I greet welcome to you everybody in our online class. Today punctuation, our topic, and as you know that question number 12. Actually question number 12 is the item of punctuation, and we have to punctuate. Generally, here you are given a dialogue. It may be a dialogue between suppose A or B, and we have to put several symbols to complete the punctuation, and there also may be paragraphs, text that we have to punctuate. So, at first we have to know about the symbols, but we have to use the symbols that are used for punctuation. Number one, the symbol is note of interrogation. Note of interrogation. Where we have to use note of interrogation, we have to use just after the interrogative sentence the note of the interrogation. And how you will be able to find out whether the sentence is interrogative or not. Actually, there are two kinds of interrogative sentences. Number one, that starts with WH questions, and the another that starts with auxiliary verbs, such as what is your name? It's an interrogative sentence. Another, are you well? It just starts with auxiliary verbs. There is also another auxiliary verb after the WH question. So, auxiliary verb is compulsory. Of course, there will be auxiliary verbs, and the subject will be after the auxiliary verbs. When the subject will sit at the beginning of the sentence, it will be an assertive sentence. In your classes of transformation, I have told you that the fundamental characteristic of assertive sentence is that always it starts with subject. It's the fundamental characteristic of an assertive sentence. It starts with a subject. And next, interrogative sentence. When we have to use note of interrogation, when the sentence will start with auxiliary verb and the subject will just after the auxiliary verbs. Here also the subject is just after the auxiliary verbs. There is another sentence that starts with subject verb, and it is imperative sentence. But what is the difference between an imperative and an interrogative? The difference is that the subject sits after the auxiliary verb at the case of an interrogative sentence, but for an imperative sentence there will be no subject. Suppose post the letter. Here post is a verb, but there is no subject after the verb, and it will not start with any auxiliary verbs. It will start with principal verbs. So it's an example of an imperative sentence. So what we have known from here that two kinds of sentences start with verb. Number one, interrogative. Number two, imperative. And for the case of interrogative. What we have seen here, that it starts with auxiliary verbs, and for auxiliary verbs the subject sits after the auxiliary verbs. So we have to put note of interrogation. Next symbol, comma. Comma, why do we have to use comma? When the clauses are different and they are used in all sentences, the subordinate and principal clauses, when we have to separate them, we use comma there. Suppose, when you came here, I saw you. When you came here, I saw you. Here, thus we have to stop for a little bit, for a short period of time. Then we have to use comma to narrate different things which are similar. Suppose I need some books, pens, pencils. I need some books, pens, pencils. And when it will be closed, we will use and dusters. And dusters. We have used here comma. Next, comma and quotation. Where we have to use comma and quotation? When there will be a direct speech. We will quote something, we will quote the speech of any person. We have to use comma and quotation. Suppose, Rohim said, comma, quotation. What Rohim said? Narrated. And whether it is an assertive sentence, we will put full stop. If it is interrogative, we will put note of interrogation, etc. But to do any quotation, to narrate any direct speech, and to quote any quotation, we have to use comma and quotation, and after the sentence we have to use the closing quotation. Full stop. Where we have to use full stop? After assertive sentence, after imperative sentence, after objective sentence. Within the among the 5 kinds of sentences, after assertive, after imperative, and after objective, we have to use full stop because the sentence ends there. So we have to use full stop at the end of the sentence. Next, note of interrogation, comma, comma and quotation, full stop, and apostrophe. We have to use apostrophe. It is frequently used in punctuation, and we have to know about it. Apostrophe. Why we have to use apostrophe? The contracted contracted form of any verb. Suppose are not. When we will use the contracted form of are not, we have to write aren't. We have to use aren't. N apostrophe T. It's a contracted form. Suppose they are. We have to write they are. And we have omitted the vowel A by using apostrophe. Suppose he is. He is. So we have to use this contracted form apostrophe to write this contracted form. We have to have an idea about apostrophe. Next, note of exclamation. When we will use note of exclamation, suppose we have to use you are given an exclamatory sentence. So you have to have an idea about an exclamatory sentence. What is exclamatory sentence? You have to know about it. Exclamatory sentence generally starts with what or how. What or how. It starts with if, would, that or had. It starts with the interjection alas, fine, hurray, etc. Just after the exclamatory sentence, we have to use note of exclamation. At first, I have told you all that by interrogative sentence also starts with WH questions. What are you doing? We will find the difference between this. What a beautiful bird it is. Here we have used what at both the sentences. But what is the difference between these two sentences? At first, we can see that after what we have used a auxiliary verbs. But for the case of exclamatory sentence, after what we have used an article, that means adjective or beautiful. If we look towards another example, how are you? How nice it is. How? 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 How are you and how nice it is. When after how, we will see another auxiliary verb. It will be an interrogative sentence. So you have to keep it in mind that when after how we will see auxiliary verb, it will be an interrogative sentence. And when after how we will see adjective, it will be exclamatory sentence. This is the difference between what and how. We shall use both in interrogative sentence and for exclamatory sentence. Here, just after what, we have to use auxiliary verbs for interrogative, and here we have to use a or adjective adverb for exclamatory sentence, and for interrogative, after how we will use auxiliary verb, and we will see auxiliary verb, and after how we will see adjective in exclamatory sentences. So these are the difference between these two. Both are what and how, but there are some similarities, there are some differences between exclamatory sentence and interrogative sentence. So, from the beginning, we will revise all this. Note of interrogation, why we have to use? We have to use note of interrogation for interrogative sentence, and there are several categories of interrogative sentences. Suppose it starts with what or how, but at the same time we get what or how at exclamatory sentence. But what are the differences? There are some differences also. For interrogative sentence, we use what, but just after what, we see that there are auxiliary verbs. There are auxiliary verbs. But at exclamatory sentence, after what or how, we will see adjective or adverb. Adjective or adverb. Then we have to use note of exclamation, and when we will see auxiliary verbs just after what or how, we have to use note of interrogation. Understand? And these are the functions of punctuation, and you will try to practice it, and if you have any question, you will contact me, and I will try to make it easier so that you may be able to understand it very easily. And see you again in our next class. Until then, stay home and keep safe, and always you have to obey your parents. Okay? Thank you.